Imagine one morning you wake up, make coffee, open the newspaper, and see shocking news. The headline says 55 million US visas are being re-examined. Not 1,000, not 1 million, but a number equal to 16% of the US population. This isn't just international news. It feels like an earthquake right in your backyard. A visa is not just an entry ticket. It's your child's teacher, your local doctor, the company worker who builds things you use every day. Authorities say this is to protect security. But we must ask, security for whom, and at what cost? In this video, we will explore 6 layers of truth behind this visa story. From the obvious reasons to the hidden consequences that no one wants to talk about. And by the end, you'll realize this is not just their story. It's our story too. In the first months of this year, the US State Department canceled over 6,000 student visas. That number is 4 times higher than last year. About 4,000 cases were linked to law violations like driving issues or small fights. And more than 2,000 were connected to suspicious groups or organizations. At first, it sounds like punishment was fair. But why did the government choose students first among the 55 million visas to be reviewed? Students are the easiest group to target. Their information is stored in systems. Their travel and school records are clear. They are young, active, and very visible on social media. A careless post, a funny drunk photo, or a small online mistake can become an excuse. With a few clicks, an officer can revoke a visa like deleting a line in Excel. But behind every visa is not just one student. It's also a chain of connections in society. When a student is expelled, a university loses thousands of dollars in tuition. The landlord loses a tenant. The coffee shop loses a customer every morning. The whole community feels the loss. Now multiply this by 6,000 cases. One decision in Washington can shake an entire college town. Some universities even warn students, be careful what you post online, because it could cost you your visa. It sounds funny, but it's also very sad. Now in America, it's not your grades that matter most, but what you write on Facebook. Some people say, well, they broke the rules, but think about it. Isn't this also a political tactic? Canceling visas shows voters that the government is cleaning up the system. It's a way to win points in politics. For students, though, a small mistake online can cost more than Harvard tuition. The bigger question is, if students are the first group, who will be next? Now let's talk about working professionals, people with good jobs, engineers, and doctors. You might think they are safe. But they are also under review. The government calls this Project Firewall. It sounds like antivirus software, but in reality it means more inspections, more audits, and higher fees. The goal is to make sure companies don't cheat wages or break rules when hiring foreign workers. It sounds fair, but in practice it's like adding more checkpoints to an already crowded road. Tech companies that rely on thousands of foreign engineers are now stuck in delays. One small business in Texas lost a multi-million-dollar contract because 2 engineers' visas were under review. Projects get delayed. Updates take longer. Even apps on your phone may run slower because the people who write the code are trapped in this process. Why is the government doing this? Because the story of foreigners taking American jobs is powerful during economic struggles. It wins votes. But American companies lose workers and the economy loses growth. It's like a truck loaded with goods suddenly blocked by a new fence. The truck can still move, but slower, with more cost, more fuel, and more delay. That is what Project Firewall will do to the economy. The name was meant to protect against threats. But now, it slows down the system itself. And if even skilled workers are unsafe, then ordinary workers are even more vulnerable. But the story doesn't end here. Now visas are not just checked at interviews. They are checked all the time. This is called continuous vetting. The system links data from many agencies and tracks visa holders during their entire stay in the US. Police records, travel records, even public social media posts can be used against you. A photo or article from years ago can suddenly threaten your visa. This makes people live in constant fear. Visa holders worry every day at work, while driving, or even at home. Families feel insecure. Children worry their parents might not return from work. Security is important, but this system feels like invisible surveillance. It makes innocent people feel like suspects. The law also creates another strange situation. If your visa is cancelled while you are still in the US, you may still legally stay if your status is valid. But you cannot leave and re-enter easily. That means you are stuck in limbo. You can work, pay taxes, and live daily life, but you cannot safely leave to visit family abroad. An engineer in New Jersey shared that he continues working, but hasn't visited his parents for years. He feels trapped in his own home. The law says he is allowed to stay, but fear keeps him from moving. Families suffer stress, children live with uncertainty, and parents fear losing everything overnight. The bigger question is, why now? Why announce the review of 55 million visas at this moment? Because timing is everything in politics. And during election season, nothing sells better than fear. Fear is the easiest product to sell. It is also the easiest message to spread on television. And what sounds more powerful than a campaign saying, "We are watching 55 million people to keep you safe"? For many voters, that is a short, clear message. It shows a tough and uncompromising government. It is like a huge billboard on the highway. Big letters, simple slogans, and striking images. Everyone notices it, even if they don't read carefully. But in reality, this is not only an administrative measure. It is also a political media tool. Every time the news talks about visa checks, every time the number of cancelled visas is reported, the government looks like a strong protector. But what about the cost? Ordinary people are trapped in stress and fear. Many of these 55 million visa holders are teachers, doctors, and workers. They help schools, hospitals, businesses, and local shops. But in the political smoke, these details are hidden. A small shop owner in Florida once said, "I hired a Brazilian student. He worked harder than my 3 grandchildren combined." But after his visa was cancelled, the store lost a valuable worker. The story is simple, but it shows a larger truth. When visas are used as a political tool, ordinary Americans also face the consequences. People often say politics is the art of reason. But when politics enters, reason often leaves. What stays are powerful slogans, shocking numbers, and big headlines. The real question is the screening of 55 million visas truly about security? Or is it only to win votes in the election? And if that is true, how will this affect ordinary Americans who don't even think about visas in daily life? This is not just an issue for immigrants. This is an issue for every American's wallet. Let's look at the numbers. International students spend more than $30 billion every year. They pay tuition, rent apartments, buy food, and use local shops. H-1B workers, including engineers and doctors, pay billions of dollars in taxes to the government. They are part of America's economic bloodstream. But when thousands of visas were cancelled, that flow became weaker. It may sound far away, but the impact is right in your local town. In a college town in Ohio, when students left, the pizza shop was empty, the laundromat lost customers, The inn had no guests, and even Walmart saw fewer shoppers. This is like a domino effect. One empty chair in a classroom can lead to a closed shop down the street. For middle-class Americans, the results are real. Prices go up because of labor shortages. Hospitals make people wait longer because of fewer doctors. Schools lose money to fund programs. One morning, you go to the supermarket and no one is working at the vegetable counter. Or you try to see a doctor, but the nearest appointment is 2 months away. That's when you realize the visa story has reached your own life. The campaign that claims to protect American jobs might end up removing the daily convenience of Americans themselves. It is like building a wall to block the cold wind, but also blocking the sunlight by mistake. The American dream now begins with an empty shopping cart. No line, no seller, no goods. This is not just paperwork anymore. It is about dinner on the table for middle-class families. So the question is this a victory for security, or an economic failure hidden under a political slogan? And if the cost is shortages, inconvenience, and a slower economy, are we harming ourselves? Now imagine an even scarier scenario. What if not just thousands, but millions of visas were cancelled? Let's imagine only 10% of 55 million visas were cancelled. That's 5.5 million people, almost the population of Minnesota. It's like an entire state suddenly disappeared from the US labor market. Universities would lose hundreds of thousands of students. Classrooms would be empty. Coffee shops near campuses would close. Hospitals would lose thousands of skilled doctors and nurses. Appointments would be delayed for months. The labor market would be like a truck missing its front wheels. It could still move, but slowly and dangerously. This is not just about documents. It is a shock that spreads through the whole economy. One student leaves, the dorm is empty, shops lose customers, landlords lose rent, banks lose borrowers. Now multiply that by 5.5 million people. This is the paradox. Policies made for security end up shaking the stability of the middle class. People don't care about visas until hospital bills rise, until grocery stores lack workers, until flights are cancelled because there aren't enough pilots. Then they wake up and ask, what does this visa issue have to do with me? America is called the land of opportunity. But with one administrative decision, millions could be forced to leave. And the opportunities they brought would disappear too. An economist once said, if all immigrant workers vanished tomorrow, America would be like a restaurant with diners but no chefs. The question is, can America survive that shock? Can the economy, already fragile after the pandemic, handle another man-made disaster? Or is this just a political card using the number 55 million to scare people and win votes? The answer is not just in Washington. It is in the daily lives of you and me. A visa may look like a small piece of paper. But behind it are tuition fees, jobs, taxes, dinners, and sometimes entire dreams. Now, 55 million of these papers are under review. The final question is America truly safer after this campaign, or are we only making life harder for ourselves? What do you think? Is this really about security, or is it a political game for elections? Please share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next analysis. This video is for analysis and commentary only. It is not legal advice or political advice. The goal is to inform, to spark debate, and to help everyone think for themselves. Thank you for watching until the end.